Hello and welcome to day 9 of 64 Days of Truth. My name is Theo, and over this week I've been going through a very profound transformation. Something that I could never imagine for myself, and yet I am the one who is very willingly uh, volunteering for this transformation, asking for it, and accepting it extremely willingly. It's something I really could not have imagined, and just to give you the summary of what that is and then go into the depth of it is um, becoming one with the divine, surrendering my personal will to the divine will, and making my will one with the divine will, which essentially means that going from the going from using my free will to fulfill my ego's desires and my ego's needs to using my will to fulfill the divine will, allow the divine to work through me and to create life through me. And the reason this is very surprising for anyone who's known me long enough is that I was deeply opposed to anything to do with spirituality, firstly, and then I was also very much in this ego of I get to control my life, I get to decide what happens in my life. And while that option exists, what I started realizing is that the divine will is the highest will for every single individual. The divine actually wants the best for me. The plan that the divine has, my soul has, whatever you want to call it, higher self, is the best life I can live. But it's not what fulfills the ego's needs and desires because the ego doesn't necessarily want the best life for me. The ego wants the best life to fulfill its needs, and its needs can be proving that it is the best, proving that it is worthy, proving that it is the one who made everything happen. And that was one of my biggest drivers was needing to prove that I was the one who made my life amazing and magical and successful, and everything I have achieved is because of me rather than the divine providing for me, the divine creating magic through me. And it was very humbling to realize that I was actually sacrificing my own goodwill, my the best life for myself, simply to prove something to the world, simply to get some validation about how great I am and how powerful I am, how smart I am, how this I am, whatever I am. And it was so painful to realize how much I was depriving myself simply because I needed to prove this. And just allowing myself to not need credit for how amazing my life is and for my life to get even more amazing, but just realizing that it's however amazing and magical my life is because of grace. It's everything magical and wonderful that has happened in my life is because of grace. It's truly been divine grace, and I have. lived through grace, and I'm so grateful for it. And a lot of me knew this and was grateful for it, but there was at the same time my ego was very strong in wanting and needing to be the one in charge, wanting and needing to be the one who proves and claims credit for everything. And it it has just been so liberating to just accept that it is grace that has created magic in my life, continues to create magic in my life, and I'm so grateful and I'm so blessed to have received so much grace in my life, and I'm so grateful that I continue receiving so much grace, and I've even been given this opportunity to surrender my ego and to really become one with the divine. Like that too, it's such an act of grace. If I look back at who I have been and how disrespectful I was towards the divine, and always want, like being very, yeah, like disrespectful, I guess is the best word. But if it was me and someone was being disrespectful towards me to that degree, I would not have the grace. And that's what really for me feels like this is the quality of the divine, that it's so unconditionally loving to anyone who is truly open to give themselves to be in service to the divine will. And what is the divine will? It is to create heaven on earth. It is for everyone to experience heaven on earth. But our egos are so wrapped up in suffering that rather than allowing the divine to create heaven on earth through us, we are so bent on creating hell for ourselves and for everyone. And I can say this from my experience, from my personal experience, that how much I was blocking grace, how much I was magic from happening in my life and just creating my own suffering. And I've seen this with so many of my clients. So I'm speaking personally and professionally that this is what most of us are doing. Like we, rather than trusting in grace, we try to control everything. And in trying to control everything, we just end up making a mess of everything because it is beyond our capability to truly juggle everything and make heaven on earth through our egoic will. It is a co-creation with the divine, and we are here to play our roles. It's not a passive role at all. It's not to just sit back and let the divine create heaven on earth. We have to play a very active role, and this is the toughest thing: is that when we do surrender and become one with the divine will, we are asked to do things that are very uncomfortable, that are very unpleasant for the ego, and this was the main reason I had been resisting. But I knew that when I do truly go into service, I will be asked to do things that are scary. I will be asked to do things that are uncomfortable, that might end up being embarrassing for my ego. But this was what it meant, that it's not about me. It's not about what it makes me look like. It's not about what people judge me for. I can totally imagine myself looking at this video of me talking like this and judging myself in all kinds of ways. Like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Divine? What an idiot! And like, he's lost his mind. Like, I would be the one saying all of these things. What a puppet! What a slave! Have some dignity. Like, I used to be the one saying these kinds of things. Like, you should use your will to create your own life. And it's such a matter of pride, and there's such a strong ego in that. And just really realizing how silly all of that is and how unimportant it is. Like I started realizing my priority used to be needing to prove how great I was and how much I have accomplished and how magical I have made my own life. Versus now my priority is I just want to experience the most amount of magic in life. I just want to experience heaven on earth. And I don't need credit for creating heaven on earth. I just want to be amazed by how much magic is happening through. I just want to be amazed by how amazing the divine is and what a beautiful sacred experience life is, and just to allow it to become more sacred through me, to allow life to become more beautiful through me, not because of me, not because I need the credit for what happened. And I remember, like in the past, so many times, the most powerful healing experiences, the most powerful transformational experiences that have happened was not because of something I was doing. I knew that I was just being a channel for some energy that was working through me. And in that moment when someone would be appreciating me or telling me how magical I am and how great I am and all, like I would never be taking it personally because I would know that it's only because of what is working through me. Like I would allow that credit to pass through. And that's how I feel like that's what I'm entering into fully now, is that none of the credit really goes to me. Like the only credit I take is that I allowed this to happen through me. And for me, that's not about taking credit. It's just like what an honor it is, what a blessing it is to be graced by the divine. That it does flow through me. For me, it's just an honor and a privilege. And for anyone who is skeptical and still watching this somehow, I would just invite you to play with this idea that your most magical life is the divine plan. And literally, like what I'm talking about is when you make your will one with the divine will, all you are saying is that I allow my higher self, which is God, to create my life. Of course, my higher self has the best plan for me, and my higher self is the divine, is God, is the universe, whatever you want to call it. It's just simply that I don't need to take credit for how amazing I made my own life. It's just so blessed that I had the opportunity to allow the divine to work through me. That's where I will close this for today. I know that this may not seem very logical. It's not something to understand from the mind, something to go beyond the mind and to allow your soul to listen, to respond, to make you feel something. And if you do feel something, then allow that to work its way through you. And if you want to go deeper with it, I offer several portals to experience heaven on earth. So you can check out links in the description or send me a message on one of the social media platforms. And I look forward to connecting with you. Until tomorrow for day 10 of 64 Days of Truth, have a wonderful Friday evening, Saturday morning, or whenever you watch it, and a wonderful life.